Come on in. Come on in. It's Saturday. Come on in. Grab your tea. It's Saturday.
Happy Saturday, guys. Come on in, grab your drinks, your coffee, your water, your tea, whatever you are sipping on, and come on in. Let's talk. It's Saturday. You know, it's our day to get in the Word, to find out what's on the heart of God concerning you. And I did not do Saturday last week because we were out of town, taking care of some school business for my daughter. And so that was really, really fun experience and activity. And so we're back now. We're going to get right with the thought for today. The thought for today is stay focused. Stay focused. Stay focused. I know you see what God is doing with other people. I know you know what He has said to you. I know prophetic words that you have been given over the years and over time that you still have not seen come to pass. And perhaps you are so focused on what is happening for everybody else that you are forgetting your responsibility. You are forgetting your mission. You are forgetting your purpose. You are forgetting that you have something to do. Yes, even in the process of you waiting for what God says, you still have a responsibility. There's still something to do. We're not just sitting around waiting for God to bless us. No, we're not. He has given us all an assignment. He has given us something to do, whether it's small or whether it's big. The question is, have you done and are you doing what He has told you to do? Have you done? Are you doing what He told you to do? You know, I was talking to the choir or the worship team about 2 weeks ago, and I was being transparent with an event that happened in my life some seasons back, maybe a few years ago. And I was telling them how I got to a point where I began to focus on what somebody else was doing. And I won't say names. They weren't familiar with the people, so I can mention them, but you just may know them. So I was at a whole different church than I am now. And so I was focused on what this other person was doing and what she had and why she had to have that and why she had to do that. Now, I'm a part of the same area that you are part of, but you didn't see it necessary to do what you did for yourself for all of us. So I was feeling some type of way about it. And even though it was internal, do know that what goes on internally is expressed outwardly. We cannot hide what we are dealing with on the inside. We think that we can hide it because we put on a smile and we say, oh, good morning, or God bless you, or girl, how you doing? Because somebody could tell really that something's going on with you. You know, how you doing? It's like, I'm good. Knowing that there's really an issue, knowing that there's really an knowing that there's really a problem, right? But the problem becomes, how can I really tell them what I'm feeling? Because what I'm feeling is petty. What I'm feeling is ridiculous, right? And so do know, what you feel on the inside, especially towards a person. If you love a person, you don't never have to tell them. They'll know because you express that in everything that you do, the way you communicate, the way you act when you are around them, just your mannerisms when you are around them. But when you feel a certain way about somebody, trust me, they may not know what it is, the underlying reason why you feel that way, but they can sense and feel that something ain't right. When she get around me, when he get around me, he act funny. And then I see him, different with everybody else. And so I was honest and transparent with them about how I was in that position, And so I was encouraging them to stay focused, because the truth is it can happen to anybody. That feeling some type of way, that jealousy, that envy, that stuff happens because your mind or your eyes see something. Your mind begins to take hold of what you see, and then now it's like in your mind you start going through changes, and then it kind of translates to your body, your movement, your actions, how you speak and communicate, as we said before. So there were some things that I shared with them for them to stay focused, or for us to stay focused. And I want to share that with you today on this Saturday, because I believe it is important. If you have not noticed, I am watching a bunch of people just really be blessed in this season. People walking in their dreams, people walking in visions that they have spoken about. And I am determined not to feel any type of way, because guess what? I have enough stuff on my plate that I need to be focused on, that I need to be worried about. I don't have time to worry about why you got that and why the Lord blessed you and how you get it before me. No, because there are things that I know personally that the Lord has told me to do that, guess what? If I could be honest, I still haven't done. I still haven't done. So none of us are exempt from this feeling. We all need to stay focused. So I'm going to give you 5 points of what we need to do, or the questions we need to be asking ourselves in order for us to stay focused. The first question is, what's next? What's next for you? What are you looking forward to? What are you looking for? You know, the Bible says people perish without for lack of knowledge, right? Without vision, what do you see for what's next? What are you hoping for? What are you believing for? What are you dreaming for? What are you praying for? Right? That's how you stay focused. You stay connected to that. What's next? But anything or anytime you don't have anything that you're looking forward to, you will dry up and die where you are. If I'm not expecting anything, if I'm not looking for anything more than what I have, if I'm not looking to go any further than where I am, then guess what? I will settle for this place. I will settle for this position. And this place and this position is not my end. That place, that position is not your end. God has more for you. The question is, what is next? Question number 2, what is your vision for what you see next? When we can't see what God is doing for us, we will focus on what he's doing for others. And if we're not careful, the enemy will make us an enemy to what's afforded to us. But we are blind to it because we don't have vision for ourselves. When we can't see what God is doing for us next, we will focus on everything that he's doing for everybody else. And the enemy will trick us to believe there's something wrong with them, when the problem is really, no, what are you not doing with what the Lord has told you to do? What have you not operated or functioned or walked out when you have written it down? You wrote it down. So now you seeing them being blessed, and now you becoming, feeling some type of way. And now you'll become an enemy to what's afforded to you. Their blessing is their blessing, but guess what? The Lord has a blessing stored up with your name on it. And can't nobody block that. And nobody's responsible for your blessing but you. What are you doing to receive what God said? What is your vision for what you see next? Number 3, what has God said? What has God said? We hold on to the promises of God because his promises are yes and amen. We hold on to the promises of God, especially when it's attached to his word, because his word will not return to us void. But in the process of us waiting for the promise, what are you doing? What are you doing while you're waiting for God to do what he said he's going to do? Once again, we're not sitting just waiting. Lord bless me. Well, he said this some years ago and I haven't seen it, so I'm waiting on it. No. What are you doing to make steps towards that? Or what are you doing with what he told you now? What are you doing? What are you doing? The fourth question is, what is God saying? Don't miss what God is saying now. That may lead you to what he said. So the prophetic word, the dream, the vision, the goal that you wrote down, what God told you years ago that you still have not seen come to pass. What is God saying now that if you are obedient to do that thing now, it may lead you into what he said? See, remember, God is strategic. God is a God of order. He's a God of process. So he says something which may be the end, but we still have to go through a process to get that. And I don't believe he shows us something at the beginning and then just leaves us blind. where we're sitting around not understanding, we're sitting around not aware, we're sitting around just idle, just waiting for the end thing to happen. No, I believe he's given us bits and pieces in the process of something we're supposed to do, something we're supposed to start, something we're supposed to give, something that we are responsible for, that in that process is going to lead us to what he said. The final, the end thing, the big thing. We're waiting for the big thing, but we won't do the small thing. And he said, if you are faithful with the little, then he will make us rulers. He will give us much, but you have to be faithful over the little seed. You have to be faithful over the small vision that you have. You have to be faithful over the finances where you are, right? You have to be faithful with where you're serving, right? The position that you have now, where you are now, what you're doing now. Treat it as such that you're doing it unto God, not doing it for man, not doing it because somebody asked you to, but I'm doing it because this is what God said for me to do. Can we get back in a position where everything that we're doing is because we are spirit led? Because God said so, not because it feels good, not because it sounds good, not because it looks good, not because they ask me to, not because I just want to be a part of something. I find there's a blessing in being hidden. There's a blessing in being in the dark. There's a blessing in being on the sidelines, right? Because it's only for a season. And if it's where God has you in the sidelines, hidden and in the dark for a season, it's for a reason. And in that season, the reason is he's developing you. He's cultivating you, right? He's maturing you. He's growing you. He's equipping you with the tools that you need to walk forward so that when you get to the end, you can handle it. When you get to the end, you will be a good steward of it because you will have known what it feels like to go through the process, whatever that process is and means for you. Everybody's process is different. And number 5, how are you preparing? Remember, we're not sitting. We're not sitting and waiting, because when we sit and wait and we become idle, guess what becomes our go-to? Social media. And when we get on social media and we see what everybody else is doing and what's happening for everybody else, and don't be fooled, because everything that's happening for everybody, some things is not God. Some things is man-made. And when it's man-made, it won't have longevity. It won't last long. It won't bear the fruit that is intended. That when God gives us an assignment, when God gives us his yes, when God gives us the blessing, it has longevity. There is fruit that you can see from that thing. That person has joy in the process. Yes, the process has ups and it has downs, but they will still remain full of joy, full of peace, because I'm where God told me to be. It don't feel good. It don't look good. I don't even know what's about to happen, but this is where God has told me to be. So I'm settled in my spirit, knowing I'm planted where he has me. But how are you preparing? Are you researching? Are you making the phone call? I had a conversation with a client that came by the studio yesterday, and we were talking about vision for the future. And we were talking about how there's some things, being honest, that we have not done that the Lord has told us to do, because we're looking at it and it's so small, but we're looking at it like it's so big. And she said, he just told me to make the phone call and I still haven't made the phone call. But yet she's expecting God to do exceeding and abundantly, far above what she can ask or think, but she hasn't done the small things. She hasn't done the immediate thing. She hasn't done the now thing, which is to pick up the cell phone, dial, make the phone call. Where are you with what God has told you to do? The instruction that he has given you. Have you taken steps towards being obedient, or are you sitting still, expecting God to do what he said when you have not done what he told you to do? God is faithful to us. God is committed to us. But all in the words, there's this word, if. He will do this if you do this. He will do what he said he's going to do, but it requires you to do, us to do. I'm not leaving myself out. It requires us to do what he has told us to do. Romans 12:11-12, it says, do not lack diligence and zeal. Be fervent in the spirit. Serve the Lord. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in affliction. Be persistent in prayer. And I love another version. It says, never let the fire in your heart go out. Keep it alive serve the Lord. When you hope, be joyful. When you suffer, be patient. When you pray, be faithful. When you pray, be faithful. God has not forgotten about you. He's committed to his promise. So if he said it, guess what? He's going to do it. The question of what are you doing or what are you not doing? Let not our fire go out. Don't let your fire for God. See, when we focus our attention on God, then everything else, even though we see it, it kind of fades away because my attention is on you. And no, I'm not blind to what's going on around me. But Lord, my focus is on you. And he tells us to seek him first. And all the things that we want, all the things that we need, all the things that he said, it will be added unto us. Are you focused on God or are you focused on the thing? Are you focused on your purpose or are you focused on what is happening for other people? When you line up and get in order with what he placed inside of you and what he has said and told you to do, told us to do, not leaving myself out once again, we will begin to reap. But we can't faint. Many of us are fainting in the process. Many of us are not fainting because we're not even starting. See, fainting means I get tired in the process. I'm doing something and I'm getting weary. Many of us have not even gotten to that point because we're still sitting at the start line, looking at what he told us to do and making a determination. It's too big. It's too much. God, I don't know if I can, when he already told us that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And in this season, I'm determined to pull on the word for every no that I have given God. Yes, because I may not have said no. You may not say no. But when you don't do what he told you to do, when I don't do what he told me to do, that's saying no. When we tell our children to do something and they don't do it, that means they're telling us, no, I'm not going to do it. And it may not be with that attitude. A no is a no, whether it's no, whether it's no, whether it's I said no. No matter how the no comes, it's still no. So when we don't do what God has told us to do, we are giving him our no. And he cannot work with the no. He cannot work with that. Now, he can work with it when we're telling man no, because it opposes what he said. When we're telling man no, because we know this is not right according to the word. This is not right according to what the Lord has said. So when we give that no, he can work with it. He'll bless us, right? Because our no means that we're saying no to man to say yes to his will, to his desires, to his plan, to his word. He's going to bless that all day. But when he gives us instruction and we decide not to do it because X, Y, and Z, because anything, no matter what the excuse is, because that's what it is, he cannot work with that and he will not bless that. I want to challenge you to stay focused. Stay focused in this season on what God has told you, the vision for your life, what God has said, but also what he is saying, and prepare. Don't get weary in well doing, for in due season you will reap. When, if, or why, how, if you faint not. So let's not faint. And if you haven't started, start. Take the step of faith. Call somebody to hold you accountable. Say, okay, this is one thing I want to do by this date. I need you to call me on that day to see, or check on me in between this time or today and this date, and see if I've made any steps or taken any steps towards that. It's okay. Find someone that you can trust. And even when I was talking to the client yesterday, I said, sometimes when you hold a friend accountable, you don't do it. You kind of let them get away. Like when you call them and they be like, all right, girl, did you do what you? So no, I was busy and I came up with all excuses. All right, you need to get on it. No. You don't need nobody like that. You need somebody that's going to light some fire to you, not in a nasty way, not in a rude way, but that's going to hold you accountable, and that's not going to let your excuse slide, because you've been given excuses up to this point, which is why you're asking them to hold you accountable. So guys, keep the fire for God. Keep your focus on him, and remember, remain passionate about your purpose. not the position. Positions change all the time. So what you're doing today, whether it's in church, whether it's at home, you know, if somebody gets a divorce, they're no longer a wife for a season, right? If you at a job and you get a new position, or you get fired, or you decide to leave to go to another job, or if you at a church and you get ordained with the title, and then that title changes, we're not being passionate about the title. We're being passionate about our purpose. Purpose fuels the title. Purpose fuels us. So no matter what I do, no matter where I am, no matter where I'm called, no matter where God sends me, I'm passionate about who he called me to be and what he's told me to do. If he elevates me, thank God. If he gives me this title, thank God. If he shifts me and moves me, thank God. If he transitions me, thank God. But I'm settled because I know who I am. I'm settled because I know my identity. I'm settled because I know my purpose. And these avenues are just way for my purpose to be fulfilled. So when a door is closed, it doesn't mean that it shuts out who I am and what God has called me to do and who he's called me to be. No. That just means that he's taking me somewhere else to do that, whether on that level or a greater level. So stay focused in this season. God has not forgotten about you. He's done his part. Now it's time for you to do your part. Until next at our day, continue to live, love, laugh, breathe. Jesus loves you, and I do too.